Hi, this is Ike, and this is part 2 of reviewing the X-Men animated series. Now, last time I talked about the original X-Men cartoon pilot, which ultimately failed, but in the process gave birth to 3 other series, one being the 1990s X-Men cartoon show, which was very successful, and I'm going to talk about today. Now, the main reason I wanted to do this series of reviews is to kind of let everyone know that the X-Men 90s series is finally being released on DVD. It started, I think, June this year, 2009, and it's November now, and they're up to Volume 4. Now, some of the volumes are actually longer than the season was. I think it's due to, some of the episodes didn't air in the right order, and I think they're trying to correct that, and I guess it was because of production delays in the animation. I was really pumped for this DVD release. I mean, I've been waiting forever for it to come out on official DVD. I mean, unfortunately, there's no special features, which, there's plenty they could put in there. Commentary, that original pilot that failed. It's an old series, but they need to do something. The only thing on there besides, the title menu is like episode select and previews for crappy Disney movies. The one thing that really sucked is that way back when the series first started, Pizza Hut had like a promotion where you could get these 2 special VHSs, which had like Night of the Sentinels and Enter Magneto, and they came with I think a card and posters, which I have somewhere, but the main thing is like it was like an interview with Stanley and a whole bunch of like X-Men guys that worked for Marvel, whatever. And it was like really awesome to watch. I have it somewhere in my closet. I'll have to dig it out, but it really sucked because the interview was a really good introduction to the X-Men series, and it should be on this DVD. I don't see why they don't put it on. Now, one of the cool things about the show was the intro. I remember sitting in front of the TV every Saturday morning religiously waiting for the show to come on, and when it finally did, I would get so pumped because the intro was just awesome. I mean, in the later seasons, they made like a more rock version of it, which was the same thing, but it was still badass. The only intro I can think of that was, as memorable and as awesome was the Ninja Turtles intro, which I can still sing, but I won't. But the intro was awesome. It showed all the main characters of the X-Men and their powers, and at the very end, it would show well, not all the X-Men, but most of them colliding with a bunch of the supervillains, Juggernaut, Magneto, Pyro, and it was really cool. I'm sure you can still find the intro on YouTube or something. Now, this show's pilot was kind of similar to the pilot that ultimately failed, but it's different characters. It's totally different. Instead of Kitty Pryde, you have Jubilee, who ends up getting caught by the Sentinels, and it's still the same type of situation. She's like a young teenager, and she has her powers, and she's confused, and she doesn't know what the hell's going on. So it's a little similar, but totally different at the same time. And when the show originally aired, I was about 7, and I already started collecting the X-Men figures before the show even came out. So I was already a fan just to make it better. And I remember, I think they aired it like a couple times, maybe just once or twice before the Saturday morning where it debuted. But I just remember being so pumped to see it, and I was not let down at all. It was awesome. Now, what I really liked about this show is it was really true to the comic books. It wasn't your typical Saturday morning cartoon show. It had serious tones in it, and it dealt with prejudice and all types of like real life things. And it's not what you would expect to see on a kids show, and it all worked out really well. You could watch it now, and I mean, some of the things they talk about, you really think about it afterwards. Now, if you know nothing about X-Men at all, and you've never seen the series or watched the comic books, basically it's about people who basically evolve, and instead of you know having an extra nose or something, I mean, even though some of them do and whatever, uh, and they look weird, most of them, they gain special powers, and like in a real life sense, people like hate them because they fear and don't understand them. And the leader of the X-Men, Charles Xavier, has, his dream is to live in a world where mutants and humans can live peacefully. I don't know. Think about that for a second. What does that remind you of? And on the other side, you have Magneto, who's the X-Men's like main nemesis. He believes like the opposite of what Charles thinks. He thinks that like mutants should be in control, that they're superior, and he usually lashes out towards everyone and causes a lot of problem, making the dream of Charles Xavier's peaceful world a lot harder. Another recurring villain in this series is Creed, who leads the organization Friends of Humanity, who are just a bunch of prejudiced people going around terrorizing mutants and causing a lot of problems. And there's also the Sentinels, who basically are sent to either kill or capture mutants. What I really liked about this series is they took a lot of the more popular stories straight out of the comic book, like the Phoenix Saga and Wolverine's backstory, and they did a really good job with it. I could go on and on about this, but I should probably wrap it up. The main things that I liked were the stories were awesome. Every episode was like an epic movie. The voice acting was phenomenal. The guy who played Wolverine, I mean, he was amazing. And uh, still to this day, when I hear Apocalypse talk, I mean, he creeps the hell out of me. So, I mean, it was an excellent series. I definitely recommend you check it out. It had a lot of cameos in it from popular other Marvel characters. And what else can I say? The animation was awesome. I mean, it had its flaws because, I mean, it was hand drawn, and I enjoyed that a lot more than newer cartoons, which are mostly computer generated. And I grew up with this show. I mean, it's my favorite cartoon series of all time. I give it a perfect 10 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks again for watching, and be sure to rate my video or leave some comments, let me know what you think.